Visiting Angels toll-free today at 877-374-LIVE or at visitingangels.com.
Have you ever considered joining the military but stopped because you couldn't deploy to a foreign country? Believe it or not, the state of Texas has its own military force that stands alongside the Texas National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and serves only inside the state of Texas. It's called the Texas State Guard. I'm Tech Sergeant John Wells of the 4th Air Wing, and we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. If it's important to you, we're talking about it right now on the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Telephone number 866-660-5759. We just put the television show up on the air. You can now see the Wells Report live and in color, which is kind of strange because I'm kind of black and white. Yeah, I'm as pale as it comes, and I'm wearing a black shirt. So I'm in color, but I'm wearing black and white. Dumb. Anyway, you can go to YouTube live events and type in the Wells Report, and they'll take you right to the studio where I'm sitting. And I will look forward to seeing you in the chat room that goes with this. So there you go. So, yeah, and it sounds good too. So anyway, 866-660-5759 is our telephone number. You can join us anytime about anything. Donald Trump met today with the chairman of the Republican National Committee. He met with Reince Priebus regarding that, that loyalty oath thing. Apparently, that is something that got the attention of the RNC. The chairman is in constant communication with all the candidates and campaigns about the primaries, general election, and the convention. Meeting and phone conversations with candidates and their campaigns are common. Will increase as we get closer to November. Trump informed the RNC he was going to be in town for meetings, and Priebus invited him to swing by, according to a source with knowledge of the meeting. No formal agenda to discuss delegates. The Republican National Convention in July, the idea of Republicans being unfair, and a pledge that the candidate signed committing to support the GOP nominee. So he wouldn't say much about it. He said he had a very good meeting. He's looking forward to helping put the Republican Party back together again. All right. Well, okay, that's fine. Also, one other thing that Donald Trump said during the Wisconsin town hall yesterday, he talked about his Muslim friends. I have a lot of friends who are Muslim. They call me. In most cases, they're very rich. Yeah. And he was asked whether his very rich Muslim friends would be allowed to enter the U.S. during President Trump's Muslim ban. They'll come in and you'll have exceptions. So a rich guy, should he become president, would make exceptions to the law for other rich guys who are his friends. Trump also suggested that America, once made great again, would all be so alluring that Muslims would fight ISIS just to get Trump to lift the ban again. Maybe they'll be more disposed to fight ISIS. See, and that's what Donald Trump wants. And that's what he's actually trying to get. What he's trying to do is he's trying to put the part of the Muslim street that is known as peace-loving Muslims or moderate Muslims or what have you. They're trying to put those Muslims into the fight against ISIS. As a matter of fact, they're the only people that can be successful in the fight against ISIS. Because what they do is they are coming from the same basic background. The problem with it is that those people who are moderate Muslims or peace-loving Muslims and so on and so forth are slaughtered by the extremist Muslims if they stand up and say, hey, you got to knock this off. My religion isn't about that. Well, they can find themselves being attacked with people wielding knives. These are things we all have to keep in mind here, right? You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM. The Answer. We'll be back with more coming up in just a moment.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy here, sponsored by DallasBoatsForSale.com, reminding you about the free Marine Max Spring Yacht and Brokerage on the Water Boat Show. Go to Lake Louisville this Saturday. Visit Marine Max at Pier 121 Marina. Step aboard both new and used boats. Big or small, it's a must-see. The Big Boat and Outdoor Show is broadcasting live this Saturday at Marine Max and would love to see you. The Big Boat and Outdoor Show airs Saturdays at 6 p.m. on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
This is Eric Metaxas. You know I consider a college education important, but for many, leaving home to go off to college is not feasible, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Liberty University's online programs. Right now, more than 95,000 students around the world are enjoying the same quality education as Liberty's residential students in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty is consistently ranked among the top 10 online universities and offers hundreds of degrees. Liberty's online classes are taught in flexible, virtual classrooms by engaging and challenging professors. I know some of them. I've had them on my show. For them, teaching is more than a job, it's a calling. If you're looking for an affordable, quality college education without leaving home, check out Liberty's online programs. Just dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keywords Liberty University. Secure your education from the world's largest Christian university without leaving home. Dial pound 250 right now and say the keywords Liberty University.
Hi, folks. I'm Frank Manzeri, owner of Statewide Remodeling. Have you noticed everybody's having allergy issues this year? And it's not just outside. If you have those symptoms inside your home, it could be your old windows. New restoration windows from Statewide Remodeling are medically sealed to keep the dust and pollen out of your home. Our windows far in our technology outside. Noise pollution can be just as irritating as air pollution. Also, for the month of March, I'm offering free installation on all our restoration window and door products. I know you have a choice on the window company you do business with. We've been installing custom-made replacement windows in Texas homes for over 20 years, so we know what we're doing. For more information and a free in-home demonstration, call 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095, or check us out online anytime at statewideremodeling.com.
Dude, do you hear that? What is that? That doesn't sound good.
Oh man, this isn't good at all.
Hold on. Let me see what this does. Hey, is it better?
Nope. I'm pretty sure this is the opposite of better. Man, what are we gonna do? This is awful.
Looks like you need the help of American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection.
Oh, man, it's Will Nell with American Leak Detection.
Save us!
No worries, guys. American Leak Detection has been around for more than 25 years, detecting and repairing hidden leaks in your home. Plus, we do all this without cutting huge holes in your wall.
Thanks, American Leak Detection.
American Leak Detection. Leak detection without destruction.
Just go to alddfw.com next time to get a hold of us. It's much easier.
American Leak Detection.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper in credit card debt? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management will consolidate your accounts and work with your creditors. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call Trinity at 1-800-758-5360. 1-800-758-5360. 1-800-758-5360.
This is 660 AM. The Answer. Now, by popular demand, The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to The Wells Report. Jon-David Wells joining you on YouTube Live Events. You can go to The Wells Report on YouTube Live Events and beam right into the studio. You should do that. Let's find out what's going on with Mark Davis tomorrow. It's the big-time radio extravaganza from 5 in the morning until 10 in the morning. What are you going to do, Mark? Tell us.
Hey, JD, good Thursday evening. Well, tomorrow morning's kind of special. It's the final Bill Bennett Morning in America, and being a Friday, it's hosted by me, so that's kind of crazy. So Hugh Hewitt takes over on Monday. Being a Friday, it's our last 5-hour date together. We'll start a normal 7 to 10 rhythm Monday through Friday all next week. So join us. I will bring the Morning in America ship into its final dock and then take a couple of extra hours, as has been the habit, to see what this week has meant to us all. So join us 5 to 10 before we shorten it up for Fridays moving forward. Looking forward to hearing you tomorrow morning right here on 660 AM. The Answer.
Thanks very much, Mark. Looking forward to that, my friend. You've done a great job filling in on Fridays for the great Bill Bennett, who is going to become a senior correspondent for the Salem Radio Network. Looking forward to having the great man on the Wells Report on several occasions. Hopefully moving forward, that's what's going to happen. So, there is a well-known fable, perhaps by Aesop, where a crafty monkey who's hungry runs across a buddy of his, a cat, who is also hungry. And the monkey uses flattery to convince the cat to reach into the fire and pull out these chestnuts, which are beautifully roasted and ready for eating. The cat, enjoying the flattery, does just that, singes his paws. In the meantime, the monkey grabs all the chestnuts, eats them all, and leaves the cat without any. Pat Caddell is a pollster and political strategist. He is the mainstay of the Political Insiders Roundtable on Fox Reports Sunday. And what ends up happening is Caddell believes that Ted Cruz may indeed be the GOP's cat's paw. He does not like the intensity of the personal attacks between Trump and Cruz. And that is destructive to the party. It violates good sense, not just Ronald Reagan's now famous 11th commandment, thou shalt not speak badly of Republicans, your fellow Republicans. They're doing that, just wholesale damaging the party and damaging their candidacies, et cetera, et cetera. He's got to stop that. But he can't believe that the Republican Party GOP leadership isn't necessarily plotting to essentially sweep both Trump and Cruz aside. Remember, they don't like either of those guys. There is a group of people out there in the GOP mainstream that say, you know what, I'm not going to vote for Trump under any circumstance. I think that's stupid. But then again, in 2008, I didn't vote for John McCain because I didn't think he was a president. I didn't think he was going to lose, but I didn't think he was a president. I voted for Duncan Hunter, the senior Duncan Hunter, the only conservative in the race. Well, we saw how that worked. I sought to fix it in 2012, voted for Mitt Romney, even though I didn't, and I asked you to vote for Mitt Romney. Did my part to try to get Mitt Romney in there because I still believe that a first Mitt Romney presidency would be better than a second President Obama presidency, and I think I've been proven to be pretty accurate there. I agree that people that did not vote for Mitt Romney wouldn't vote for Mitt Romney today and still stand by their vote, and that's perfectly fine. I stand by my vote for Duncan Hunter. But we have to look at this very carefully, especially when you consider that now the shoe's on the other foot. Arguably, we have a Tea Party candidate in Ted Cruz and a populist in Donald Trump. We got our wish. We want somebody besides another Republican stalwart to lose an election for us. Well, Now the mainstream Republican Party is saying, well, okay, if it was good for you guys, it'll be good for us. We just won't support your candidate either. Well, that kind of tit for tat stuff is understandable in politics, but it's also destructive for the country. And if indeed Hillary Clinton is elected as the president, I'm going to blame the Republican Party for that. I'm just going to make that plain. So Cadell speculates that many of the delegates that Donald Trump has won during the state primary races have been set up as fakes who will abandon him after the first round of voting, possibly allowing the party to introduce an entirely new candidate, such as, you guessed it, Representative Paul Ryan. Cadell believes he believes that the GOP establishment is using Cruz as a cat's paw, right? You really don't think that Jeb Bush, Lindsey Graham, and some of those who have endorsed Senator Marco Rubio, you don't really think they want Ted Cruz, do you? Said Cadell. They're using him to stop Trump. You think that's possible? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Do you believe the GOP leadership is attempting to use Ted Cruz as a way to defeat Donald Trump? And then they plan to sweep him aside at the convention. You think that's possible? Or you think that's too far-fetched? 866-660-5759. The strategy faces a test in the Wisconsin primary. Cadell noted the generally reliable Marquette poll showed a huge 10% lead for Ted Cruz. He found such a surge believable, given that Scott Walker and other potent political forces in the state have aligned behind Ted Cruz. Trump has been off balance during the Wisconsin primary run-up. I think the odds are that Trump is the decided underdog right now, at least in Wisconsin. Predicting that a big Cruz win in Wisconsin would make it very difficult for Trump to collect the 1,237 delegates he needs to win the first round of balloting at the Republican National Convention. Also, a loss in Wisconsin will energize those who wish to block Trump from winning the nomination. Depends on how he recovers. Depends on how the electorate has been pushing him recovers. There's a Quinnipiac poll out there this morning, shows him with 56% of the vote in New York. If you think that Ted Cruz is going to beat Donald Trump in New York, not going to happen. Now, Ted Cruz may defeat him in California. He's got a lead out there. But Pat Cadell, noted political strategist, thinks the GOP may be playing Cruz for a rube. Do you think that might be true? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Interested in what you have to say about Ted Cruz here. Now, Ted Cruz has not been especially fallow, shall we say. He's working really, really hard at getting John Kasich thrown off the Montana ballot. Yeah. They are trying to question signatures the Ohio governor's campaign used to qualify for the ballot. That's another subplot in the unfolding political drama to derail Donald Trump. Clearly, John Kasich is damaging Ted Cruz. And I can't help but believe that it wouldn't necessarily be a play by the Republican establishment to try to keep Ted Cruz at bay as well. Now, I don't think that here's the thing. Does the Republican Party have this grand plan to put all these pieces in place and so on and so forth? These guys can't beat you at a game of backgammon, let alone chess. All right? Seriously? These people aren't that smart. With all due respect to these learned men of the Republican Party, I suppose that any one of them individually is brilliant. But you put them together in a room and the collective stupid goes off the scale. Don't you agree? Seriously. I don't think these guys can pull off anything so Machiavellian. I just don't see it. But I do see that Ted Cruz is a shrewd political operator, and he might be successful in keeping Kasich off the ballot in Wisconsin. I don't know whether he should do that or not. I'm not somebody that believes that people should be disenfranchised. Kasich may have only 6% of the vote in Montana or something small like that, but those people should be heard from. Don't you agree? So part of me hopes that Ted Cruz is a failure in keeping John Kasich off the Montana ballot, but I think that John Kasich is actually angling to be Donald Trump's vice president. And I believe that John Kasich is doing Donald Trump a huge favor by staying in the race. Now the question is, okay, who is financing John Kasich to stay in the race? And would that not be the GOP establishment? Remember, the way this works is that these 501c3s can give money to other 501c3s as they see fit. So the money that Jeb Bush collected, that Marco Rubio collected, can certainly be used to funnel into John Kasich's campaign to keep him floating along until the convention. That is something the Republican Party is quite capable of doing, by the way. But as a Ted Cruz supporter, I am concerned that the GOP may be making Pat Caddell look like a genius. I am concerned that the GOP may be trying to figure out a way to take both Donald Trump and Ted Cruz out of the chase for the presidency in 2016, parachuting in another candidate. Who would that be? And what would it do to the party? I'll be perfectly honest with you, if the Republican Party does something like this and disenfranchises the votes of my fellow Americans, I'm done with them. Irrevocably. I will become a conservative independent. I will look at the Republican Party as the other side of the same political coin as the Democrat Party, and I will hold them both at arm's length and deal with them as I need to as a professional. And that's about it. And then I will work to develop conservative candidates and a conservative party to elect them. Because if the Republican Party stoops so low as to disenfranchise not just the frontrunner of their own party, but the runner-up to the frontrunner in an effort to parachute somebody else in like Paul Ryan, I am done with the Republican Party. Now, will that mean I won't vote for the Republican who is nominated, whoever it happens to be? Can't say that, because it depends on who they parachute in on the Democrat side. I'm not voting for Hillary Clinton. She's dishonest. I'm not voting for Bernie Sanders. He is deluded. He is an old doddering communist. Not interested. Thank you. Not interested. I'm a Ted Cruz guy. I want the guy to reduce government dramatically. I'm tired of reporting the story that 72% of Americans believe that the biggest threat to freedom and liberty in the United States is the federal government of the United States. I'm tired of reporting that statistic. It's been the same for years. It's not going anywhere. It concerns me and should concern you. 866-660-5759. Ted Cruz. Is he being used as a cat's paw? Is he going to be the guy who puts himself into a situation where he makes it possible for the GOP to defeat Donald Trump? Would he be a willing accomplice in that? I don't believe so. And he may be talented enough and willing enough to fight the GOP for that, because if the GOP is going to manipulate Ted Cruz like that, he really doesn't have a basis of power in that party anyway. And it's time for us to It's time for us to recognize, at that point, it would be time for us to recognize that maybe the Republican Party really is the younger brother of the Democrat Party seeking your happy. That's what I'm seeing. 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. Speaking of John Kasich, I got something to say about John Kasich. It's kind of weird to see what he's up to. I can't figure out why he's still in the race except for the reasons that I mentioned a moment ago. John Kasich's next. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
This is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, and I'd like to invite you to join me for our talk show every Sunday morning. We're actually trying to convert the world to organics. We talk about the natural organic program for farming, ranching, gardening, and pest control. Also, a lot of talk about health issues for animals and people. Hope you can join us for all the fun.
Make sure to tune in to Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some urgent news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from PBS host and three-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we're about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-644-3169 now to get your personalized copy rushed to you today. Do you want to avoid mistakes baby boomers and seniors can make when they buy annuities? Those mistakes now could be costly later to you and your family. Call 800-644-3169. That's 800-644-3169. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
It's a new year, a new you, and new open carry laws here in the great state of Texas. The last few months have shown us that the world can be a dangerous place, but there are some stores that are here to make sure you are safe. At Texas Gun Pros, we like to make gun safety, gun education, and gun buying a non-intimidating experience. That way, you can focus on how you can protect yourself and your family in 2016. You don't want to be talked down to. You just want to exercise your Second Amendment right. At Texas Gun Pros, we want to help you regardless of your experience level. From beginning handgun classes to the new license to carry, our professionals will work with you at your level to accomplish your training goals. You live in a state that focuses on your individual safety, so why not go to the gun pros of that state? Texas Gun Pros. Visit us on the web at texasgunpros.com or stop by our facility at 5121 Davis Boulevard in North Richland Hills. That's texasgunpros.com.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to. And the Grammy goes to. And the Grammy goes to.
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
With a career spanning over 3 decades, Stephen Curtis Chapman has pretty much done it all, except for one thing.
Hi, we're Third Day.
Be a member of Third Day? One night where 2 of our industry's top performers literally merge into each other's bands to play each other's songs that you've loved for years. Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLTY Concert Series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th.
We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D, I think is what we're calling it.
You'll probably never see anything like your tickets right now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com. One night you'll never forget. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com.
As a listener to this station, you've heard a variety of companies advertising their products and services, many of them for a number of years.
I'm Walt Parker with InvestingMakesMeSick.com. I've gotten absolutely great results. No matter who's advertising, it definitely pays off. Doesn't matter what business they're in. I think they'll find it's going to be very rewarding.
My name is John Duncan, and I'm the CEO and founder of Bioscan of Las Colinas. It's simply the most effective advertising that I can do. I've advertised for the last 14 years on television, radio, and newspaper, and advertising with 660 gets the best results.
Hi, I'm Marcia West, Senior Account Manager for 660 AM The Answer. For 20 years, I've worked with companies both big and small to create cost-effective radio campaigns that get results. Let me do the same for you. Contact me today at mwest@ksky.com. That's mwest@ksky.com. I want to help you grow your business.
Business Loans Now is most known for 60-minute approvals and same-day funding for businesses across this greatest nation on God's green earth. This is Michael Medved for Business Loans Now, where your business cash flow is way more important than personal credit. Funding can be used for cash flow, equipment, payroll, and startups. Business Loans Now can also help with additional funding if your business has recently been underfunded by another lender. To find out how much your business could qualify for, I encourage you to visit businessloansnow.com.
660 AM, The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. John Kasich soldiering on in the belief he can convince hundreds of delegates to swing his way at a contested summer convention. He said today that it will be a contested convention, that he will become victorious. In fact, he said that, by golly, we need everybody to throw their support behind me. You know, I feel the same way. I think that Donald Trump and Ted Cruz should throw all of their support behind me, Jon-David Wells, for president. I bet you I have the same luck John Kasich does. Just saying. Arla in Mansfield, Texas. Thanks for joining us. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I was just wanting to draw a contrast that I was listening. I heard you say that Bernie Sanders was a communist.
Yes.
When there's a distinct difference between democratic socialism and communism.
Not true at all. The two go hand in hand. You're talking about synonyms, brother. What you're talking about is Democrat socialism, which makes it more tasteful than the ugly word communism. But make no mistake, this guy is a dyed-in-the-wool Soviet apparatchik.
Wow.
That's it. He is, honestly, he's a Soviet. He is a Soviet. He's a Soviet yearning for the old days of the Soviet Union. And you know what? He wouldn't even get elected in Russia today. You're listening to the Wells Report.
Hi, this is Andy Tuttle, host of Tuttle Talk every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. right here on 660 AM The Answer. We're in a real estate market where there's a lot of difficulty, but in difficulty, there's a lot of opportunity as well. Buying, selling, avoiding foreclosure, modifying your credit, all these things are so important to your livelihood. This show is dedicated to cutting through some of the big headlines that you see out there and teaching you how to win in any marketplace. Thank you for tuning in to Tuttle Talk every Sunday, 4 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer. I look forward to speaking with you.
This is Nolan Ryan for American Standard Air. Beat the heat with high-quality, dependable home comfort. Technology fighting Mother Nature. It's serious. American Standard. Comfort the way you like it.
Nolan's right, and North Texas Air can help. With our mild Texas winter, chances are good we're in for a long, hot summer. So, North Texas Air is offering an $89 comprehensive preventative maintenance spring special to make sure your air conditioner is ready for the long, hot Texas summer. Or if it's time to replace your old AC system, North Texas Air can help with a new energy-efficient system. Special financing is available, subject to credit approval. Call North Texas Air, your independent American Standard Air dealer, for details at 972-535-4858.
And remember, all new systems from North Texas Air come with a lifetime labor and workmanship warranty. For fast service, call North Texas Air at 972-535-4858. That's 972-535-4858. Or visit northtxair.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at Good Feet. I've described the many ways the right arch supports can help. Look, for some people, foot pain isn't just an inconvenience. It's a threat to the very work they do.
A construction guy comes in and told me, I'm afraid I'm going to get fired. My feet hurt so bad. I can't do what I need to do at work. You got to help me. It's unbelievable how quickly the product changes some things for some people.
If you're one of those people with foot pain affecting your livelihood, real help is here in all 3 locations of Good Feet: Plano, Fort Worth, and Southlake. The adventure begins at goodfeetdfw.com, goodfeetdfw.com, where you can get out of pain today. If you're working out a lot and you want to avoid foot pain, arch support means everything. Men, women, all the shapes and sizes and styles you need from Good Feet. Again, they are in Plano, Fort Worth, and Southlake. Check them out at goodfeetdfw.com. That's goodfeetdfw.com. It's America's #1 arch support. Goodfeetdfw.com.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Jay Metzler. A gunman opens fire at a Greyhound bus terminal in Richmond, Virginia this afternoon. He was killed, and this sad news announced this evening.
It's with an incredibly heavy heart tonight that I announce to you the loss of Virginia State Police Trooper Chad Dearmeyer.
State Police Superintendent Colonel W. Stephen Flaherty. 2 of 3 Mormon missionaries wounded in the Brussels terror attacks, now back on American soil. Chad Wells, the father of Mason, who will continue his recovery at the University of Utah Medical Center.
We're fortunate. We feel blessed that they survived. However, we know there's a lot of people that didn't have the same outcome as us, and we're very mindful of the loss that a lot of people have suffered.
A 7-week-old baby boy abducted from an upscale shopping mall outside Philadelphia. The baby's mother let the woman hold the infant while she made a phone call. Fox News, we report, you decide.
660 AM The Answer.
Don't you wish you had a real estate friend who was in the trenches and on the pulse of the local DFW real estate market, finances, financial management, mortgage loans, estate taxes, and much more? Well, now you have 2 of them. Make sure to tune in every Saturday at 2 p.m. and Sunday at 5 p.m. and find out why everyone is talking about the DFW Real Estate Radio Show with Bernie and Terry Christian. Call today at 817-269-1660 for you or someone you know who wants to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, leading the way to fine living Texas style. When it comes to your money, it's a jungle out there. Don't go into the jungle without a guide. Tune into the Financial Safari Radio Show with Coach Pete and local advisor Steve Meeks every Saturday at 5 p.m. Coach Pete and Steve will guide you safely through the financial jungle out there. They believe the more you know, the better prepared you'll be when it comes to your financial life. So listen to Coach Pete and Steve Meeks on the Financial Safari Radio Show this Saturday at 5 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
When you purchase replacement windows for your home, you probably assume the installation is the same from one company to the next. Not many people think about this, but how your windows are installed can make a huge difference in how they look, perform, and their longevity. Hi, I'm Dave Trainer, owner of The Window Connection. The difference in a good job and a bad job is really about the installation. How the window is measured, the removal technique, the caulking, the frame size, and the trim work all affect performance, longevity, appearance, and your home's resale value. The window is installed incorrectly over time, you'll see fogging, gaps, feel drafts, and they just won't work right. There's a lot to know. Please visit my website at thewindowconnection.net for a quick look at the most informative website on the internet devoted to windows and doors.
The Window Connection was voted D Magazine's Best of Dallas Contractor and is A-rated on Angie's List and by the Better Business Bureau. Call the Window Connection for an estimate at 972-620-1994. That's 972-620-1994. Or go online to thewindowconnection.net.
There's a real freedom in paying off credit card debt. You open the mailbox without facing a pile of bills. Open your paycheck without worrying about all the people you owe. Avant can help you get there by consolidating your credit card debt into one unsecured personal loan. One loan, one monthly payment. Just go to avantoffer.com and check your rate. Checking your rate is risk-free with no effect on your FICO score. Complete your application in minutes and the funds could be in your account as soon as tomorrow. Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after you make your first payment on time. For this offer and to check your rate risk-free, go to avantoffer.com and enter promo code BORROW. That's avantoffer.com, promo code BORROW. Avantoffer.com, promo code BORROW. Loans made by WebBank. Funds are generally deposited via ACH for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
This is Eric Metaxas. You know I consider a college education important, but for many, leaving home to go off to college is not feasible, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Liberty University's online programs. Right now, more than 95,000 students around the world are enjoying the same quality education as Liberty's residential students in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty is consistently ranked among the top 10 online universities and offers hundreds of degrees. Liberty's online classes are taught in flexible, virtual classrooms by engaging and challenging professors. I know some of them, I've had them on my show. For them, teaching is more than a job, it's a calling. If you're looking for an affordable, quality college education without leaving home, check out Liberty's online programs. Just dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keywords Liberty University. Secure your education from the world's largest Christian university without leaving home. Dial pound 250 right now and say the keywords Liberty University.
If you're looking for quality bedding at the best value, listen up.
I love getting a bargain as much as the next person, but there are some things I'm willing to spend the extra money on, and my bedding is at the top of that list. I used to think, what does it matter? I'm sleeping anyway. But once I tried thecompany.store.com, I got it. It was just a whole new level of comfort I didn't know existed. See, the Company Store has been around for over 100 years, so they've really perfected what it takes to make the finest quality bedding, and other home goods too, all for the best price. They're not trying to be the cheapest. You get what you pay for. They're the best value, and there's a difference. They believe in using natural products and only the best cotton. So they not only set the bar for comfort, they last.
See the quality for yourself. Visit thecompany.store.com and try any of our products risk-free. Log on now, enter the code VALUE, and get 15% off your order plus free shipping. Thecompany.store.com. We're all about comfort.
Any Napa guy knows, and science proves, the best minivan is the one you've already got. Part kid transporter, part drywall mover. Who cares if the faux wood grain is a little faded? That was a platinum package option in 1987. With over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, you can keep anything on the road. Because it's not old, it's vintage. That's Napa know-how. 660 AM, The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. It's starting to get to the short strokes with Hillary Clinton, the FBI, the Department of Justice, and a homebrew server with some of the nation's most sacred secrets. So let's get to the tit for tat having to do with what's going on with regards to Hillary Clinton, the political process, the FBI, James Comey, the Department of Justice, Loretta Lynch, et al. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa warned the former Secretary of State that law enforcement was coming for her. Hillary Clinton snapped back. This was last Monday. Hillary Clinton snapped back and said to the Republican senator, "Sir, you need to step up and do your job. You should hold a hearing. You should schedule it as soon as the Senate returns from recess." In an interview with Politico earlier on Monday, Grassley brushed off Clinton's comments as an effort to evade talking about the news the Federal Bureau of Investigation is reportedly going to begin questioning Clinton's aides and eventually Clinton herself about her use of a private server as Secretary of State. With all the trouble she's getting on email and the FBI is going to question her, I would imagine she would want to change the tone of her campaign. This is simply a blatant attempt by Secretary Clinton to politicize the Supreme Court and to change the conversation about a damaging story regarding the Washington Post and her emails. Grassley was referring to a Monday report that the publication reported as many as 147 FBI agents are involved in the investigation of the server that Clinton kept in her basement as Secretary of State. It's bigger than that, and the story is still not being reported properly. Yeah, the original server was in her basement. Then it was mirrored by an IT company in Colorado, who then requested an IT company, I think in New York, to mirror it again. The second IT company hit the panic button, contacted the FBI and said, "We can't handle this job. What do you want us to do?" And things began to come apart in a big hurry. Now, Hillary Clinton telling Senator Chuck Grassley to step up and do his job. They're talking about getting Merrick Garland confirmed as a justice in the Supreme Court. That's not going to happen. And so this argument between Chuck Grassley and Hillary Clinton revolved around that. Democrats have been pressuring Republicans to hold confirmation hearings on Garland. That's not going to happen. It's going to be up to the next president to appoint Scalia's replacement, Antonin Scalia's replacement. The FBI is entering the final phases of its investigation into the Hillary Clinton use of an unauthorized email server for government business. Attorney General Loretta Lynch, FBI Director James Comey meet frequently to discuss the progress and handling of the highly sensitive case. Wouldn't you like to be a fly on the wall for those conversations? I just get the feeling that Loretta Lynch, at the end of the day, is going to be a U.S. attorney more than she's going to be a political appointee. I don't know why I say that. She has made mistakes in her burgeoning political career. But from what I understand, I just don't see that she can turn her back on all of those years as a federal prosecutor to put all that aside for the sake of politics. Eric Holder's not bound by anything. He has no principles. He, whatever works is okay with him. Eric Holder was so focused on pounding people for what he considered to be egregious abuses of race by white politicians and white people all across the United States. That's all he could see. In his effort to be able to pound white people for the crimes of racism that he saw and continues to see everywhere he turns, Eric Holder sold out his legal career for that. Okay. I just don't get the feeling Loretta Lynch is going to do that. I know James Comey isn't going to do it. Hillary Clinton doesn't have a prayer in this. Getting back to those two talking, Loretta Lynch and James Comey, among the issues discussed, apparently, are who will be interviewed, in what order. According to an intelligence source close to the ongoing case, emails released by the State Department have already shown Clinton and several key aides using the personal unsecured network to send more than 1,000 messages, which have been deemed classified. The source said this: in a case like this, you get one shot at the queen. The source said that, referring to Clinton, the former Secretary of State, current frontrunner for the Democrat presidential nomination. The pressures are enormous on the agents, as the case has to be airtight and perfect. Well, that's exactly what the FBI does. They put together airtight and perfect. That is why their record is 96%. Comey and Lynch are likely involved in daily briefings on the status of the explosive investigation, said Ron Hosko, former assistant director of the FBI's Criminal Investigative Division. The investigation into Clinton's private email server is reaching a critical point. This is an incredibly high-stakes, high-wire act. Timing is of the essence, but being right is absolutely critical. Comey must be the one to make the case that the law has been broken and that a prosecution is recommended. Nearly a dozen people who worked with Clinton at State, as well as others linked to the Clinton family's nonprofit foundation, have received or are expected to receive formal interview requests from the Bureau. Now, let me explain why this is happening this way. First of all, formal interview requests. What are those? What is that? Is that James Comey going to a printer, getting some engraved invitations to come to the Justice Department and sit down for coffee and a quick little talk about a server? No. Those are federal subpoenas. Why is the mainstream media, and by the way, this is being reported by Fox News, why is the mainstream media calling them official invitations? They're federal subpoenas. You will appear. So why are they calling them invitations? Because you don't want to start a mess. Now, Newt Gingrich said a few days ago that this is probably happening in front of a grand jury, or this is a deposition that is going to be submitted to a grand jury. But make no mistake, these are subpoenas. You just don't want to say that because nobody wants to start throwing these ugly words in front of Hillary Clinton's presidential aspirations. And that's understandable, by the way. If you think that that's ridiculous, not ridiculous. Look at what happened when anybody disagreed with President Obama about anything, even things that were blatantly unconstitutional, that were blatantly against the way things are done in the federal government. When somebody said, excuse me, you can't do that, Eric Holder said, you're nothing but a racist. What? What are you talking about? And then the mainstream media said, you know, the racist Chuck Grassley said this about the president of the United States. The racist, Daryl Issa. Those guys aren't racists. What are you talking about? But that's what happened. Anybody that takes on, and this has already happened. Anybody that takes on Hillary Clinton is a sexist. Because if Hillary Clinton were a man, she'd be able to do this all day. A man like who? Scooter Libby? A man like General David Petraeus? I mean, you know, I'm sorry. A man like who? The Los Angeles Times reported Sunday the FBI was setting up interviews with Clinton's closest associates, would likely seek an interview with her. As we reported yesterday, David Schuster joined us from Al Jazeera America, and he had an exclusive report that, yes, indeed, it would be a matter of days. Tomorrow is Friday. Either the conversations are going on as we speak. Has anybody heard from Hillary Clinton today? Or tomorrow. If Hillary Clinton tries to stonewall her way through this, and that's just about the only chance she has, the FBI is going to move forward with a grand jury indictment. Just like they did with David Petraeus. There may be people listening to this and say, gosh, you know, Jon-David, that partisan right-wing talk show host is, you know, really reveling in this. Not in the least. I'm offended on a bunch of different levels here. I'm offended that Hillary Clinton would need to go this way to do this thing in the first place. Why would you do that? It's much easier to be honest. There is no advantage that you needed to take by having all of this material out in the open for anyone to steal. Unless, of course, you were selling that information from a server that no accountability could be assigned to. I mean, think about this. The FBI finally gets around to putting a subpoena on the server, and Hillary Clinton tries to wipe it clean and fails, you know, with a cloth. That's obstruction of justice. Right there. There is more to this story. I will share it to you. I'll share it with you in just a moment. But let's just say it this way. These interviews, everything has to go with everything else. Hillary Clinton is not going to know what everybody else has said. Further, she is flat guilty of crimes already. In order for her to be truthful, she has to be willing to say she's guilty. Do you think Hillary Clinton can do that? This is the Wells Report.
Dennis Prager has figured out the Trump strategy.
What he does is he comes in like a bulldozer, and anything in its way is shattered, and then is calm and is given tremendous kudos for his calmness. So he has, even if you're a supporter, you have to acknowledge that this is a very effective thing for him.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM. The Answer.
When it comes to getting a home mortgage, you have plenty of options. In fact, today, there are so many mortgage options available that you need an expert to help guide you through the mortgage process. And well, you're in luck because every Saturday at 3 p.m., you can listen to the experts on the Mortgage Edge radio show. You can call in with your questions and get free advice about all your mortgage options, the latest on mortgage rates, and hear about everything going on right here in the DFW real estate market. So listen to the Mortgage Edge radio show this Saturday at 3 p.m. on 660 AM, The Answer.
Think you're fat? You might just be bloated. Find out by calling now for a free trial of New Biotics, the new breakthrough that flattens bloated bellies fast. For a free trial, call 1-800-988-5994. Strict limit of 1 per household.
I used to be plagued by pot belly and constant.
Checking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It is quite simply the most important election of our lives. The Wells Report is covering it like a blanket. Why? Because that's what it takes. We go through every candidate's campaign, every issue, every day, and we bring you the news nonstop between 8 and midnight. And we're not ever going to stop that. And we're not ever going to quit. The mainstream media may indeed have abandoned the truth and chosen sides. That's up to them. We on the Wells Report are made of different stuff. We're going to bring fact, not fancy. We're going to bring reality, not rhetoric. We're going to tell you the truth, not what we think the agenda should be, but what you think the agenda should be. That's the stock and trade of the Wells Report. Don't miss it.
Do you think they're out there? They're out there, all right. I've made contact before. In fact, according to J.D. Power, they've provided award-winning client service for 6 years in a row. Roger that, QL1. It's nice to know they're out there, wherever they are. Detroit Control. They're in Detroit. Over. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage. Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Did you know that as early as 40 years old, your body produces up to 50% less nitric oxide? It's impossible to have a healthy cardiovascular system without sufficient levels of nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is so critical to your circulation that its discovery won a Nobel Prize in 1998. Now you can test your own nitric oxide levels with a free saliva test kit when you try Neo 40 Fast Melt Lozenges. With Neo 40, you get the same clinically researched benefits for your heart, blood pressure, energy, and stamina. The natural lozenges activate nitric oxide in your body in about 20 minutes, so you feel revitalized fast. It's doctor recommended because it works. Try your first 30-day supply of Neo 40 absolutely free. Just cover the small cost of shipping and processing. Plus, get the free test kit to prove it works. Call 800-996-2780, 800-996-2780, or online at tryneo40.com.
Welcome to Staples. Staples guy, I need to get a grip on my company's spending. Staples has low prices every day. So I won't overspend? Nope. With our price match guarantee, you can always get the lowest price on everything for your office. Everything? Everything. The lowest prices on ink, paper, coffee, ink, folders, notepads, ink, sticky notes, ink, trash pads, ink, binders, and ink? Need some ink? A little bit, yeah.
Trust Staples for low prices every day. Staples, make more happen.
Price match good at checkout for items from retailers operating online in retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. See store at staples.com for details.
One of the great dangers for investors who are retired or retiring soon is to let their guard down. If you cannot afford to lose 30 to 50% in a stock market crash, the time to protect yourself is now. Don't miss the next free Money Matters retirement seminar. Choose 7 p.m. Tuesday, April 5th, Hilton Garden Inn, Fort Worth Medical District. 1 p.m. or 7 p.m. Wednesday, April 6th in the Money Matters building in Plano. Please reserve your seat at moneymatters.net. That's moneymatters.net or call 800-994-0302.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. I am postulating that the formal invitations to interviews are actually subpoenas for depositions. But those legal words are inflammatory in the current circumstance. When you've got a presidential candidate, a former first lady, you don't throw those words around lightly. But here is the money shot on that. Quote, the authority for these formal interview requests by the FBI is granted by the Attorney General, unquote. Nobody wants to assign the straightforward legal words that I am sharing with you. I don't even want to do it. I'm doing it because, well, my stock and trade is truth. That's what's happening. But I'm also telling you that this is not something that anybody's happy about. Hillary Clinton, over the years, has proved to be an exceedingly crafty, clever, legal, evasive target. She continually puts herself in positions, along with her husband, that require law enforcement's interest. And they consistently get away with those things that have required that interest. But they may have her this time. I don't see how she's going to be able to get through this. She is one declaration of her Fifth Amendment right away from finishing her chase and her dream to be the President of the United States. The interviews are rapidly organized. They are going to be rapidly organized to set a time, date, and place for the individuals to speak with federal agents about how their names have surfaced in the FBI's ongoing criminal investigation. They say the interviews would not require any statements under oath. Oh, really? Uh-huh. I doubt very sincerely that that's going to be the case. Because David Petraeus was busted for lying to the FBI. So was Scooter Libby. I mean, those were the things that created the problem. So, okay, so you may not be under oath, but believe me, you're under oath. As the interviews evolve, the FBI, as first reported by Fox News last fall, will explore a possible violation of Criminal Code Section 1001, which covers statements or entries generally and can be applied when an individual makes misleading or false statements that cause federal agents to expend additional resources and time. Legal experts, as well as a former FBI agent, told Fox News Section 1001 could apply if Clinton, her aides, or attorneys were not forthcoming with FBI agents about her emails, classification, and whether only non-government records were destroyed. Remember, they have the server. They've got all the information on the server. Hillary's going to have to testify to that effect. She's going to have to testify as to why she tried to wipe the server. She's going to have to testify as to why SAP material, National Geospatial Intelligence Agency material, were found on that server. She's going to have to testify as to why her aides were paraphrasing tactical and classified information, top secret, and putting it in an email and sending it to her. She's in trouble. This is the Wells Report.
It's time for the Texas Minute, brought to you by EmpowerTexans.com.
More than 85% of Texas Republicans voted to bring competition to public education, but one Texas billionaire is spending his money to make sure kids are trapped in failing schools. While basing school attendance on your home zip code might have made sense in the 19th century, many Texans now believe parents should have greater flexibility in which school their kids attend. Grocery store billionaire Charles Butt of H-E-B fame disagrees. A report from the Texas Bureau of Watchdog.org finds that Butt has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars lobbying lawmakers to oppose education reforms. It's sad that Charles Butt's lasting legacy in Texas won't be his family grocery business's famously fresh vegetables, but blocking reforms that benefit Texas's neediest kids. For EmpowerTexans.com, I'm Michael Quinn Sullivan.
Learn more about the issues facing the Lone Star State at EmpowerTexans.com.
Ladies and gentlemen.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to.
And the Grammy goes to.
And the Grammy goes to.
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
With a career spanning over 3 decades, Stephen Curtis Chapman has pretty much done it all, except for one thing.
Hi, we're Third Day.
Be a member of Third Day? One night where 2 of our industry's top performers literally merge into each other's bands to play each other's songs that you've loved for years. Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLTY Concert Series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th.
We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D. I think is what we're calling it.
You'll probably never see anything like this again. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com. That's AXS.com. One night you'll never forget. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com.
Calling all business owners. Are you running your business without being incorporated? If you answered yes, you are now eligible to incorporate in just 10 minutes. It's a quick incorporation event from Incorporate.com, designed to save small business owners from the risk of losing everything. Just call this number for your free 10-minute incorporation guide, 1-800-300-5124. If you're not incorporated, it's not just your business that can be sued. It's you, too, which means you could lose everything. Your home, your car, even your life savings. That's why small business owners across the country are now scrambling to incorporate during this event. Call now for your free 10-minute incorporation guide while supplies last. 1-800-300-5124. Incorporate.com doesn't provide legal or financial advice. They just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. But hurry and call now while they're still giving these 10-minute incorporation guides away for free. Call 1-800-300-5124. That's 1-800-300-5124.
Hi, I'm Carl Deichler, the CEO of Beachbody, and I'm here to tell you about an amazing new way you can start losing weight for free right now. You've probably seen our workout DVDs on TV like P90X, Insanity, and 21 Day Fix. We just launched a beta trial of our new digital video platform, Beachbody On Demand. So while we're testing out this new digital video service, I'm inviting you to use it for free for 30 days. That means you can lose 10 pounds, 20 pounds, even 30 pounds without paying a dime. Text the word PUSH to 313131 and you can do 30 days of P90X, Insanity, or any of over 400 workouts for free. Now here's the catch. In return, all I ask is you let us know what you think of the service so we can make Beachbody On Demand the best fitness and weight loss site ever created. Just text PUSH to 313131 and get started for free right now. Again, text PUSH to 313131.
Message and data rates may apply. Membership fees apply after 30-day trial. Cancel anytime.
This is an announcement for all people who want to take a risk-free challenge to whiten their teeth in 5 minutes using clinically proven power swabs. This risk-free challenge is for people whose smile has been yellowed by coffee, tea, or smoking. It's so effective, we challenge you to try it for 5 minutes to see how white your smile could be. If lines are busy, try again. Dial 1-800-663-5922. That's 1-800-663-5922. 1-800-663-5922.
Geico applauds your inner park ranger.
Mother Nature appreciates the part of you that knows the difference between the red-bellied and the three-toed woodpecker. Geico also has specialized agents who admire your gusto for the great outdoors. Agents who help with more than just car insurance. These Geico agents can insure the RV that will take you and the whole family cross-country. The RV that makes National Forest synonymous with happy place. So what are you waiting for? 180 types of woodpeckers are ready to be identified.
Geico for your RV. See how much you could save.
660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. So, a little while ago, the FBI made the decision to take the gloves off and start taking punches, shots, if you will, at Apple Corporation, demanding that Apple provide a security workaround to get into an iPhone carried by Syed Farouk, one of the San Bernardino savages. He and Tashfeen Malik shot and killed 14 people during a December 2nd attack on a Christmas party in San Bernardino, California. By the way, this is being reported by Newsmax. Newsmax has it this way. Farouk and Malik shot and killed 14 people during a December 2nd attack on a holiday party. Please. Police recovered Farouk's cell phone, could not access the data on the device because it required a passcode. The FBI took legal action against Apple. Apple said, no, we are not going to comply. Then on March 21st, right before the trial was supposed to begin, the FBI canceled a court hearing on the matter in order to test a method to hack into the iPhone without Apple's help. They found an organization who could do it and paid that organization $15,278.02. That organization provided a way into the cell phone, and all was right with the world, correct? Well, not so much. Apple stood up and said, no, we are not going to provide this key to the FBI, even though a federal judge ordered them to. We're not going to provide this to the FBI because we are going to protect our security protocols for the sake of our customers. Many people called on the telephone, many people in the mainstream media, including Fox News, all stood up and said, hey, Apple's wrong here. Apple needs to open that cell phone. This reporter, yours truly, said no, they don't, and no, they shouldn't. Fortunately, former leaders of the CIA and NSA agreed with me. We're running dangerously close to becoming East Germany if we're not there already. In case you don't know, East Germany had a group called the Stasi, where they pitted one East German against another and worked everyone to get as much damaging information on every other one in the entire country. It got to the point where they had so much data on so many people that they couldn't make heads or tails out of any of it. The United States does it a little bit differently. Technology has changed. Boxes and boxes and boxes of file cards have been replaced by buildings and buildings and buildings filled with unimaginably powerful and quick servers. That's called the Federal Data Hub. That information is available with a few keystrokes and theoretically a warrant, but not a warrant. It's already been widely reported that a lot of people with access to the Federal Data Hub have used it to check on their girlfriends and their husbands. Great, huh? So, indeed, Apple decided not to compromise their faith with their customers, for which I am eternally grateful. But many people called up and said Apple needed to do this. The FBI only wanted to open up that one cell phone, even though we knew and were in possession of news articles that said up to 6,000 phones were waiting to be compromised by this particular key. And people said, no, the FBI doesn't want to do that. Apple didn't want to do that because they didn't want to have that particular protocol available to anyone, even themselves. And so for 15,278.02 pieces of silver, an Israeli company known as Celebrite provided information technology software that allowed the Bureau to get into that cell phone. Was there any earth-shattering information in it? We don't know. I doubt it. I doubt that there was hardly anything in there. As a matter of fact, I'm 95% sure that that was a simple ruse to be able to get this key to get into a cell phone. But like I said, everybody said the FBI doesn't want to be able to do this. They just want to be able to get into this one cell phone for reasons of national security. The FBI agreed yesterday to help an Arkansas prosecutor unlock an iPhone and an iPod belonging to two teenagers accused of killing a couple just days after the federal agency announced it had gained access to an iPhone linked to the gunman in a mass shooting in California. Faulkner County prosecuting attorney Cody Highland said the FBI agreed to the request from his office and the Conway Police Department Wednesday afternoon. A judge agreed to postpone the trial of 18-year-old Hunter Drexler so prosecutors could ask the FBI for help. Drexler's trial was moved from next week to June 27th. Drexler and 15-year-old Jason Staton are accused of killing Robert and Priscilla Cogdell in their home in Conway, 30 miles north of Little Rock, in July. The Cogdells had raised Stanton as their grandson. Case closed. This is the reason why 72% of Americans believe that the biggest threat to liberty and freedom in the United States is the federal government. This right here. The reason that we are doing this ostensibly was because of terrorism. Don't get me wrong, Hunter Drexler may have committed a heinous crime that arguably was terroristic in nature, but he's no terrorist. He's just a garden variety murdering thug, apparently. So if this is all about breaking into people's private communications against their will, If the reason that we do that is to be able to protect ourselves from terrorism, why is the FBI getting involved in a murder case? And using the key to get into a cell phone made by Apple called an iPhone. Here's the takeaway. Everyone who said that Apple was wrong and needed to pony up to the bar to help the FBI for this one cell phone, everybody you heard condemning Apple was wrong, including Donald Trump. Everyone. Every talking head on television, every talking head on the radio, and I am proud to say that I'm not one of them. Although it was a few, I gotta admit, a few heart-squeezing days involved in that. There was some agonizing reappraisal going on. I was saying to myself, gee, Jon-David, are you right on this one? Yeah. Murder is not terrorism. Murder does not fall under the auspices of the Department of Homeland Security and the Patriot Act. Indeed, the Patriot Act has been used to wipe out more politicians with more offshore accounts everywhere in the United States. Far more politicians involved in public corruption than any terrorist actions. We spent $5 trillion reorganizing the federal government to create something called the Department of Homeland Security and to suspend civil liberties for everyone in this country. We spent $5 trillion of that. Yes, during the Bush administration. And they don't use it for terrorism. They use it for murder cases, drug dealing, public corruption trials, anything but terrorism. So everybody wanted us to fall in line and support the Patriot Act. It's not the Patriot Act, it's the Stool Pigeon Act. It's the arrest anybody because we suddenly don't have to worry about the Fourth Amendment Act. That is the big problem that I had with the Patriot Act from the get-go. We didn't need to with all due respect to George W. Bush, who did it, we didn't need to reorganize the entire government. We did not need to put the Coast Guard under the auspices of the Department of Homeland Security. We did not need to put the Secret Service under the auspices of the Department of Homeland Security. We didn't need to do all of that. We needed to expand the FBI. We needed to put more information technology into the CIA and NSA. But that does not mean that we needed to suck up everybody's cell phone calls, everybody's texts, everybody's emails. They're all there. We did not need to have the federal government of the United States going into the private sector and demanding that our cell phone companies give up all of our private records. The federal government cynically said, well, those aren't your records. They belong to the phone company. Sorry, I paid for those. I paid for the storage of those. Those are my records. Those are my papers. You're just arguing as to where the filing cabinet is. We stood by and watched this whole thing come down. And we have refused to hold these people accountable for using the Patriot Act and the powers therein to convict murderers. Good police work does that. It doesn't require every bit of technological capability. I'm reasonably sure that this cell phone has no real information that's necessary to this case. And even if it does, they've already got their guy. So what are they doing? I'll tell you what they're doing. They're establishing a precedent. But we cannot let this go. We, the people of the United States, need to clear our throats and say, excuse me, the Patriot Act is not about murderers in Arkansas. It's not about embezzlers. It's not about politicians trying to hide money offshore. And it shocks me that I have to say that to something so wonderfully American and patriotic as the FBI. Hurts, in fact. But I'm right. And you know I'm right. And they know I'm right. This is the Wells Report.
Sean Hannity warns of a third-party challenge.
The Washington Post today is claiming that a group of, quote, conservative leaders got together this morning to plot a third-party challenge if Donald Trump gets the nomination. I would argue, and I'm saying this respectfully, this is a death wish. This is a plan to help elect Hillary. This is a circular firing squad.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-300-1445. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-300-1445. 1-800-300-1445.
Do you have low back or neck pain? Does it run down your arms or your legs? Do you have a bulging or herniated disc degeneration, or spinal arthritis? Even worse, have you been told you need back surgery or injections? If you answered yes, then please listen to what I have to say. My name is Dr. Chad Glines, DC, at Genesis Back and Neck, and I use the most advanced spinal decompression system available, the DRX 9000, to correct back problems just like yours. We don't use addictive drugs, and we don't use any type of dangerous invasive surgery for these problems. Spinal decompression is safe, FDA cleared, and it's not painful, and has about an 86% success rate. We accept most insurances, and your first visit will be at no charge. You will sit down and visit with me personally until I've answered all of your questions. And if you're a candidate for decompression, you can try out the treatment all at no charge to you. So if you're ready to not hurt anymore and don't want to have surgery, call me at 817-328-1922. That's 817-328-1922. Or online at mylowback.com.
Imagine your life 5 years from now. Are you on the path you want to be on? It's time to take control of your future by getting a world-class education from one of the nation's top universities. Arizona State University is now offering over 100 top-tier degree programs 100% online. It's the exact same degree our on-campus students receive, but you can learn from anywhere in the country on your own schedule. For information, call 1-800-720-3423. Learn from ASU's world-renowned faculty and use ASU's global recognition to improve your visibility, professional network, and gain real-world experience you can start using today. The Wall Street Journal ranked ASU 5th in the nation for producing the best qualified graduates. Now discover how ASU Online can stand out on your resume and help separate you from the competition. We are ready to help you learn to thrive in your life, in your career, and beyond. To learn more about ASU online degrees, call 1-800-720-3423. That's 1-800-720-3423.
There is one important thing you can do to help ensure having a good day, and that's getting a good night's sleep the night before. One company has set out to make this possible. It's Boll & Branch. They've reinvented sheets and bedding with the sole purpose of making your nighttime rest more comfortable than ever. This is a company I want you to discover. Their bedding is so soft it will be the new standard of comfort you'll measure everything else by. You can only get these products in one place, bollandbranch.com, where you know you're paying for quality sheets and not department store overhead. You're getting amazingly luxurious sheets for a couple $100. Go to Boll, that's B-O-L-L, and branch.com. Plus, they'll let you try them risk-free for 30 days. And it gets even better. Go to bollandbranch.com today for 20% off your entire order. Sheets, towels, blankets, duvet covers, everything, plus free shipping. And all their products come beautifully packaged in their signature boxes. So go to bollandbranch.com today for 20% off your entire order and use promo code MEDVED. bollandbranch.com. Promo code MEDVED.
Welcome to Staples. Staples guy, I need to get a grip on my company's spending.
Staples has low prices every day.
So I won't overspend?
Nope. With our price match guarantee, you can always get the lowest price on everything for your office.
Everything?
Everything.
The lowest prices on ink, paper, coffee, ink, folders, notepads, ink, sticky notes, ink, trash pads, ink, binders, and ink?
Need some ink?
A little bit, yeah.
Trust Staples for low prices every day. Staples, make more happen.
Price match good at checkout for items from retailers operating online in retail stores or products sold and shipped by Amazon. See store or staples.com for details.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report, a daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Dianne Feinstein met with the San Francisco Chronicle's editorial board last Tuesday. And she said that Clinton was not in the Senate long enough to do more. She was elected to the Senate from New York in 2000. She left in January 2009 to serve as Secretary of State. As someone who worked with Hillary Clinton for nearly a decade in the Senate, what is your view of her signature accomplishment as a senator? Dianne Feinstein said, well, quote, golly, I forgot what bill she's been a part of or authored. I didn't really come prepared to discuss this. So she picked up her iPad and she asked, of course, permission from the FBI to go ahead and use it. Anyway, she picked up her iPad and then Googled Hillary Clinton looking for her accomplishments. Oops. Yeah. She's been dogged by her flimsy Senate record. She authored 3 laws during her Senate stint. The legislation designated a highway, a post office, and a government building in New York. She co-sponsored another 74 bills that ultimately passed. But she's been a good senator, said Dianne Feinstein. There are a lot of things outside of bills you can do, and I know that she's done them for her state. What are they? Gosh, I've got to go back to Google. I can't help you. This is the Wells Report.
How will the future affect the money decisions you make now? Find out Saturday morning with Jerry Tuma and John Criswell on Smart Money. Smart Money will bring you the latest information regarding financial markets and what it means to you and your investment and retirement portfolio. Not knowing could be costly. Smart Money, a voice of experience and integrity, with Jerry Tuma and John Criswell. Saturday mornings at 8 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey, it's Mark Davis from my friend Josh DeShong. The real estate world of Josh DeShong sells houses when others cannot. I am living proof. Lisa and I are so thrilled with Josh. He came in and sold our house with blinding speed. You want a promise. You want somebody who's going to sit down with you and say, I promise to sell your house. Most folks won't do this. Josh will. His website is getsold.net, and he is telling you your house will get sold. How does he do this? Well, you call him at the number I'm about to give you. He sits down with you and says, let's arrive at an agreed upon price and an agreed upon time frame. If that house of yours does not sell at that price in that time frame, he, Josh DeShong, simply buys your house. That's it. You're out. You're at closing. You move on. So call him and call him today. Don't waste a day. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644. D Magazine Best Realtor 3 years in a row. I'll love him forever. Josh DeShong, getsold.net. 972-325-6644.
How is this year's unusual election drama likely to play out? What would a contested convention mean for the GOP? Find out on April 13th in Dallas at Making Sense of a Baffling Election with Michael Barone at the Institute for Policy Innovation's Hatton Sumner's Luncheon Series. Michael Barone, election analyst and contributor with Fox News, will help make sense of what's happening and what it means for America. Don't miss out. Wednesday, April 13th in Dallas. Get your tickets now at IPI.org. That's IPI.org.
Are you a responsible person who finds yourself growing deeper in credit card debt? Then get ready for a toll-free number that will put you on a path to financial recovery. Trinity Debt Management will consolidate your accounts and work with your creditors. You'll save thousands and become debt-free for keeps. If your debt has you down, we should talk. Call Trinity at 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976. 1-800-990-6976.
660 AM The Answer. KSKY Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. The official radio station of Decision 2016. The most important election of our lifetime.
Fox News Radio, I'm Rich Dennison. A Virginia State Trooper killed Thursday afternoon by a man at a Richmond bus terminal. Colonel Stephen Flaherty said the trooper was 37-year-old Chad Dermeyer.
The male subject pulled out a handgun and shot Chad multiple times.
2 women also injured. The gunman killed by state troopers. Donald Trump continues walking back comments he made in an MSNBC town hall saying women who get abortions should be punished if the procedure is illegal. Trump clarifying his stance to Fox News.
If, in fact, abortion was outlawed, the person performing the abortion, the doctor or whoever it may be, that's really doing the act or is responsible for the act, not the woman is responsible.
Both sides of the abortion debate lashed out at Trump. Severe storms moving across the lower Mississippi River Valley. The worst threat, northern Mississippi and Alabama, along with parts of Tennessee and southern Kentucky. Fox News, we report, you decide.
660 AM The Answer. We all know life can get crazy and you're not always near a radio, but one thing is for sure, your phone goes everywhere with you. And now we can too. Download the 660 AM The Answer app to your phone and listen live wherever you go. If you miss any of the Mark Davis Show or the Wells Report, you can catch up whenever, wherever. Plus, dial the 660 AM The Answer studio directly from the app. And it's free. We make it easy to stay connected. Download our app now. 660 AM The Answer.
Now you can hear the Joy of a Rich Retirement radio show at its new time, Saturdays at 1 p.m. Listen to Dr. W. Neil Gallagher and Matthew Gallagher as they explain how you can have a worry-free retirement. They'll also help you make sense of today's financial headlines. Planning for your retirement is not an option. Get the advice you need to achieve financial success in these uncertain times. Listen to the Joy of a Rich Retirement at its new time this Saturday at 1 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
Are you suffering with hearing loss? Are you sick of people constantly complaining that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to speak up? Would you like to hear more clearly, but you don't want to wear a hearing aid that makes you look old? Then you need to try Listen Clear, a life-changing breakthrough precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. And right now you can try Listen Clear absolutely free with free shipping. We'll even give you free batteries for life. So call now. 1-800-900-3142. Listen Clear is lightweight and completely hassle-free, and it's practically invisible. Call for your 100% free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-900-3142. That's 1-800-900-3142. 1-800-900-3142.
We all know carrying a lot of credit card debt is a hassle. You're constantly managing multiple payments, and if you miss one, your interest rates may go up. Avant can help you take control by consolidating credit card debt with an unsecured personal loan. You'll make just one fixed payment a month. Simply go to avantoffer.com and check your rate. Checking your rate is risk-free with no effect on your FICO score. Complete your application in minutes, and the funds could be in your account as soon as tomorrow. Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after you make your first payment on time. For this offer and to check your rate risk-free, go to avantoffer.com and enter the promo code BORROW. That's AVANT offer.com, promo code BORROW. Avantoffer.com, promo code BORROW. Loans made by WebBank. Funds are generally deposited via ACH for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
Attention, cigarette smokers. Have you tried unsuccessfully to quit smoking? Maybe you tried the patch or bad-tasting nicotine gum, or even tried going cold turkey. Great news. Now there's an all-natural alternative called Smoker's Nicotine Relief. From the Relief products, Smoker's Nicotine Relief is nicotine-free and comes in both a gum and lozenge. And they taste great. Smoker's Nicotine Relief uses natural ingredients that help you quit smoking by relieving smoking withdrawal symptoms such as nicotine cravings, irritability, insomnia, anxiety, and mood swings, all without nicotine, allowing you to quit smoking and quit nicotine. It's even gluten-free and diabetic-friendly, freshens your breath, and whitens your teeth. Start on the path to healthier living today. Quit smoking with the help of Smoker's Nicotine Relief. Call now to see if you qualify for 50% off your first order. Call while supplies last. 1-800-709-5548. That's 1-800-709-5548. 1-800-709-5548. That's 1-800-709-5548.
This is Eric Metaxas. You know I consider a college education important, but for many, leaving home to go off to college is not feasible, which is why I'm excited to tell you about Liberty University's online programs. Right now, more than 95,000 students around the world are enjoying the same quality education as Liberty's residential students in Lynchburg, Virginia. Liberty is consistently ranked among the top 10 online universities and offers hundreds of degrees. Liberty's online classes are taught in flexible, virtual classrooms by engaging and challenging professors. I know some of them. I've had them on my show. For them, teaching is more than a job, it's a calling. If you're looking for an affordable, quality college education without leaving home, check out Liberty's online programs. Just dial pound 250 on your cell and say the keywords Liberty University. Secure your education from the world's largest Christian university without leaving home. Dial pound 250 right now and say the keywords Liberty University.
At Geico, we've been innovating car insurance for over 75 years with forward-thinking ideas like online quotes and the Geico mobile app. And to prove it, we'll play one of our first radio commercials from 75 years ago.
By Jiminy, Geico could save you money on your car insurance, which is what we'll be doing over 75 years from now. Who knows, maybe with some sort of application that's accessible on a futuristic handheld device. We'll call them online quotes.
See? Forward thinking.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. You know that I started the Wells Report as an antidote to mainstream media bias. It started on the day of the 9/11 attacks. I made a solemn vow that I was never going to waste a moment of your time when I was on the radio ever again. Not that I had in the past, but I started taking things a lot more seriously. I think people would tell you that I grew up that day, along with a lot of other people. And by committing to telling the truth, I started seeing the lies. And crazily enough, I started referring to the Associated Press, the AP, as the Associated Propaganda. And the reason that I was referring to it as the Associated Propaganda was because, well, I could see that the message in the supposed journalism was more for political effect than for an informative one. And so I would say, according to the Associated Propaganda, and then Philip Olterman showed up with an article about the Associated Press yesterday. Did you see this? It was reported in The Guardian, which is a newspaper in Great Britain. A German historian has shown the news agency retained access in the 1930s to the Nazi Party by promising not to undermine the strength of the Hitler regime. Philip Olterman in Berlin reports the Associated Press news agency entered a formal cooperation with the Hitler regime in the 1930s, supplying American newspapers with material directly produced and selected by the Nazi propaganda ministry. This, according to archives material unearthed by a German historian. When the Nazi Party seized power in Germany in 1933, one of its first objectives was to bring into line the national German press. But not just the national German press, international media as well. The Guardian newspaper in London was banned within a year. By 1935, even bigger British American agencies such as Keystone and Wide World Photos were forced out of Germany. They were forced to close their bureaus after coming under attack for employing Jewish journalists. The Associated Press, which had described itself as, quote, the Marine Corps of journalism, always in, always first in, always last out, unquote, was the only Western news agency able to stay open during Hitler's Germany and continued to operate there until the U.S. entered the war in 1941. It therefore found itself in the presumably profitable situation of being the prime channel for news reports and pictures out of the totalitarian state. So they had an exclusive to the Nazi Party, the Hitler regime. The Associated Press had unfettered access to the Nazi Party and the Hitler regime. Why? Because they promised not to undermine the strength of the Hitler regime. In an article published in an academic journal, Studies in Contemporary History, historian Harriet Scharnberg shows that AP was only able to retain its access by entering into a mutually beneficial two-way cooperation with the Nazi regime. The New York-based agency ceded control of its output by signing up to the so-called Schriftleitergesetz, editor's law, promising not to publish any material, quote, calculated to weaken the strength of the Reich abroad or at home, unquote. The Associated Press thus became the stenography service and the propaganda wing of the Third Reich. Strangely enough, I would use those same words to describe the Associated Press with the Obama administration and the Democrat Party. The Associated Press becoming the stenography service and the propaganda wing of the Democrat Party. The Schriftleite Gesetz required the AP to hire reporters who also worked for the Nazi Party. One of the 4 photographers employed by the Associated Press in the 1930s, Franz Roth, was a member of the SS paramilitary unit's propaganda division, whose photographs were personally chosen by Hitler. AP had removed Roth's pictures from its website. Since Schardenberg published her findings, though thumbnails remain visible due to software glitches. The Associated Press also allowed the Nazi regime to use its photo archives for its virulently anti-Semitic propaganda literature. Publications illustrated with AP photographs included the best-selling SS brochure Der Undermensch, The Subhuman, and the booklet The Jews in the USA, which aimed to demonstrate the decadence of Jewish Americans with a picture of New York Mayor Fiorello LaGuardia eating from a buffet with his hands. Coming just before the Associated Press's 170th anniversary in May, the newly discovered information raises not just difficult questions about the role AP played in allowing Nazi Germany to conceal its true face during Hitler's first years in power, but also about the agency's relationship with contemporary totalitarian regimes. While the AP deal enabled the West to peek into a repressive society that may otherwise have been entirely hidden from view, for which Berlin correspondent Louis P. Lochner won a Pulitzer Prize in 1939, the arrangement also enabled the Nazis to cover up its crimes. Scharnberg, a historian at Halle Martin Luther University, Hollis Martin Luther University, argued that the AP's cooperation with the Hitler regime allowed the Nazis to, quote, portray a war of extermination as a conventional war, unquote. In June of 1941, Nazi troops invaded the town of Lviv in western Ukraine. Upon discovering the evidence of mass killings carried out by Soviet troops, German occupying forces organized revenge pogroms against the city's Jewish population. Franz Roth's photographs of the dead bodies inside Lviv prisons were selected upon Hitler's personal orders and distributed to the American press via AP. Instead of printing pictures of the days-long Lviv pogroms with its thousands of Jewish victims, the American press was only supplied with photographs showing the victims of the Soviet police and brute Red Army war criminals, Scharnberg trolled The Guardian. To that extent, it is fair to say that these pictures played their part in disguising the true nature of the war led by the Germans. Which events were made visible and which remained invisible in the AP's supply of pictures followed German interests and the German narrative of the war. Approached with these allegations, AP said in a statement that Scharnberg's report, quote, describes both individuals and their activities before and during the war that were unknown to AP, and that it is currently reviewing the documents in and beyond the archives to further our understanding of the period. I have long asked a pointed question about the Third Reich, Hitler's regime, Nazi Germany. How was it that the entire world was able to be hypnotized by the mechanized goose-stepping of the Wehrmacht, the precision bombing of the Luftwaffe, and the hideous crimes of the Holocaust? And maybe it's because the AP just refused to report the story based on an agreement in the 30s not to harm the Hitler regime or the Nazi Party, and took part in a propagandized effort to conceal the truth from the entire world. An AP spokesman told The Guardian, quote, "As we continue to research this matter, AP rejects any notion that it deliberately collaborated with the Nazi regime. An accurate characterization is that the AP and other foreign news organizations were subject to intense pressure from the Nazi regime from the years of Hitler's coming to power in 1932 until the AP's expulsion from Germany in 1941. AP management resisted the pressure while working to gather accurate, vital, and objective news in a dark and dangerous time." I'm sorry, I'd have to ask the AP, what about the anti-Jewish activities by the brown shirts of the Nazi Party before you were expelled? Did you report those stories? And the answer would be no. Had the answer been yes, the AP would have been ejected from the state of Germany. But they may have been able to keep their honor intact. Unlike now. This is the Wells Report.
20 plus years of unemployment. That's what retirement is, or should be. But imagine still working when you're 75 because you didn't have an exit plan for the next stock market crash. If you think your current plan has too much risk, or you're tired of paying hidden fees, listen to Plain Talk No Worries with Rick Foster and Kevin Christ, Saturdays at 4 p.m. Rick and Kevin will tell you the truth about the financial world we live in. No one knows when the next correction will be. So listen to Plain Talk No Worries with Rick Foster and Kevin Christ, Saturdays at 4 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer. When it comes to your money, it's a jungle out there. Don't go into the jungle without a guide. Tune into the Financial Safari Radio Show with Coach Pete and local advisor Steve Meeks every Saturday at 5 p.m. Coach Pete and Steve will guide you safely through the financial jungle out there. They believe the more you know, the better prepared you'll be when it comes to your financial life. So listen to Coach Pete and Steve Meeks on the Financial Safari Radio Show this Saturday at 5 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
If you're suffering with sleep apnea, here's the breakthrough you've been dreaming about. Now you can finally travel and sleep in total comfort anywhere without having to drag around a big, bulky CPAP device. It's Transcend, the world's first portable mini CPAP device. And right now you can try Transcend and enjoy 10 nights of restful, blissful sleep absolutely risk-free. Call minicpap.com now, 1-800-900-6125. Transcend is as small as a soda can and weighs less than a pound, giving you the freedom to sleep in total comfort anywhere you are. For even more freedom, you can add a battery that's as tiny as a deck of cards. Transcend is so small and so light you can fit it in your briefcase or purse to use anywhere you go. It's FAA compliant too, so you can even sleep comfortably while flying. Now you can enjoy the freedom you've been dreaming about. The freedom to sleep comfortably everywhere. Call minicpap.com for your 10-night in-home trial. 1-800-900-6125. That's 1-800-900-6125.
All right, listen up, because this is the most important thing you're going to hear all day. What if I said you could make money flipping houses without any cash, credit, or manual labor? And what if I said you could do it part-time from the comfort of your home? Sound unflippin' believable? Hi, I'm Preston Neely, and I'm going to prove it by sending you a free copy of my smash hit selling book, How to Get Rich in Real Estate. It sells online for $19.95, but I'm giving away free copies this week. To get one before they're gone, call 1-800-300-1445. I used to be so broke. I had my electricity shut off 9 times, but I figured out a simple way to make money flipping houses without even breaking a sweat. Now I'm living the good life, and so should you. Listen, if you're sick and tired of stressing about money, this book could change your life. Hands down, it's the fastest, easiest way to get started in real estate. Let me prove it. Call right now to find out how to get your free book. When they're gone, they're gone. Call 1-800-300-1445. 1-800-300-1445.
If you're looking for quality bedding at the best value, listen up.
I love getting a bargain as much as the next person, but there are some things I'm willing to spend the extra money on, and my bedding is at the top of that list. I used to think, what does it matter? I'm sleeping anyway. But once I tried thecompany.store.com, I got it. It was just a whole new level of comfort I didn't know existed. See, the company store has been around for over 100 years, so they've really perfected what it takes to make the finest quality bedding. And other home goods too, all for the best price. They're not trying to be the cheapest. You get what you pay for. They're the best value, and there's a difference. They believe in using natural products and only the best cotton. So they not only set the bar for comfort, they last.
See the quality for yourself. Visit thecompany.store.com and try any of our products risk-free. Log on now, enter the code VALUE, and get 15% off your order plus free shipping. Thecompany.store.com. We're all about comfort.
The top 3 reasons you need to go to Blinds.com right now and order new blinds. Number 1, you're tired of living in a fishbowl. Some privacy would be nice. Number 2, your current blinds are busted. They're crooked, cracked. That little string is giving you fits. Number 3, spring cleaning. Time to spruce up the house without breaking the bank. And Blinds.com makes picking out and ordering new blinds fast, affordable, and shockingly easy. Your Blinds.com design consultation is free. You want samples? They're free. Shipping? Free. You get all this for up to 30% less than you'd pay at a big retail store. And with their 100% satisfaction guarantee, there's no way you can get this wrong. You can get brand new custom blinds in minutes with Blinds.com. Plus, a site-wide 20% discount on their entire selection just for listeners of this program now through April 30th when you use the promo code BLUE. Go to Blinds.com. Use the promo code BLUE for your 20% discount before April 30th. That's Blinds.com. Promo code BLUE.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. A German historian has discovered the AP's cozy relationship with the Nazi Party in the 30s. The new findings may have only been of interest to AP historians were it not for the fact that the Associated Press has relationships with totalitarian regimes to this very day. And those relationships are again coming under scrutiny. Since January of 2012, the AP became the first Western news agency to open a bureau in North Korea. Questions have been repeatedly raised about the neutrality of its Pyongyang bureau's output. In 2014, Washington-based website NK News alleged the top executives at AP had in 2011, quote, agreed to distribute state-produced North Korean propaganda through the AP name, unquote, in order to gain access to the highly profitable market of distributing picture material out of the totalitarian state. Seriously, a defense minister being shot by a 20-millimeter Orlikon anti-aircraft gun. Those are pictures you just can't get in just about anywhere in the entire world except North Korea. The Democrat People's Republic of Korea comes second from the bottom in the current World Press Freedom Index. A leaked draft AP was apparently willing to let the Korean Central News Agency, KCNA, apparently the AP was willing to let the KCNA handpick one text and one photojournalist from its agitation and propaganda unit to work in its bureau. AP told The Guardian, quote, it would be presumptuous to assume the draft had any significance. But then went about to decline disclosing further information on the final agreement. Significant offense, reported in the international media were not covered by AP's Pyongyang bureau, such as the 6-week public disappearance of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in September and October of 2004. The November 2004 Sony Entertainment hack that allegedly had been orchestrated by a North Korean cyber warfare agency, or reports of a famine in South Hwanghae province in 2012. When the French news agency Agence France-Presse signed an agreement to open up a bureau in Pyongyang in January of this year, AP's former Pyongyang bureau chief, Jean Lee, commented that it was a sign of the regime's increased confidence in its ability to keep foreign journalists under control. What a slap. The AP spokesperson denied the agency was submitted to censorship. We do not run stories by the Korean Central News Agency or any government official before we publish them. At the same time, officials are free to grant or deny access to interviews. Oh, that's very nice of them. This is a darn shame. The Associated Press in cahoots with the Nazi Party. The Associated Propaganda. You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer.
Veterans have given us the freedoms we live by each day. That's why Starkey Mortgage and 660 AM The Answer bring you the Veteran of the Month. If you know a veteran who deserves this honor, then go to 660amtheanswer.com and nominate them to be the 660 AM The Answer Starkey Mortgage Veteran of the Month. Winners will visit the studio, meet hosts Mark Davis and Jon-David Wells, and receive a prize from Starkey Mortgage. Go to 660amtheanswer.com to nominate your veteran. Starkey Mortgage is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 2146. This is not a commitment to lend. Specific underwriting guidelines must be met.
How will the future affect the money decisions you make now? Find out Saturday morning with Jerry Tuma and John Criswell on Smart Money. Smart Money will bring you the latest information regarding financial markets and what it means to you and your investment and retirement portfolio. Not knowing could be costly. Smart Money, a voice of experience and integrity, with Jerry Tuma and John Criswell. Saturday mornings at 8 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. It's been more than 50 years since the GOP convened a convention when the nominee wasn't at least almost certainly known. The prospect of an open convention terrifies some and absolutely thrills others. It will all come to order on July 18th in Cleveland. When will it end? Well, that depends. Republicans can't control what, if anything, will happen in the streets, but they can make the convention orderly, even after this most disorderly of campaigns. The RNC should impose a schedule of votes well before the California primary, so no one can claim perfidy in the aftermath of a perceived advantage. They should also have the Rules Committee convene early in Washington and make it work day in and out until the rules are settled well in advance of the convention. Transparency has got to be the rule. A third or more of the delegates will leave screaming, "We were robbed!" Some will no doubt do so anyway, but minimizing the damage via the maintenance of order and especially the reality of fair play ought to be the goal. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. You know what they say happens after you turn 40. Well, about a million things, but here's one you can actually do something about. Let's fix your vision. You have those reading glasses fused to your face all the time, or when you do take them off, you'll lose them, you sit on them, it's just crazy. Let's get you out of the reading glasses relay with the corneal inlay procedure from my friends at the Climate Evangelista Eye Center. This is a wonderful thing. You can't literally turn back time, so you got two options. Reading glasses for the rest of your life, or the corneal inlay procedure from Climate Evangelista Eye Center. This is a wonderful procedure specially designed to restore reading vision for the over 40 crowd. So if that's you, get on over to the phone, call 1-800-714-2020, 1-800-714-2020, or MyInlay, MyInlay, myinlay.com. They're in Arlington, Plano, and Knox Henderson in Dallas. Free consultation, myinlay.com. Call them 1-800-714-2020 or myinlay.com.
After a rough day on the range, a fella can get a bit saddle sore. That's why I use Blue Emu Original Super Strength Cream. It works fast and penetrates deep to soothe my tired muscles and joints.
And he don't stink.
And I'll tell you one thing, I had no idea this stuff was so darn handy.
Blue Emu Original Super Strength Cream. Available at all major retailers.
It works fast for long-lasting soothing of tired muscles and joints.
And you won't stink.
You're a small to mid-sized business with 300 to 3,000 employees. You face the same network security challenges as big businesses do, but can't support a big IT investment, leaving your doors open to advanced cyber threats. Barracuda next-generation firewalls provide all the core features of enterprise firewalls and UTMs, but without hidden costs and deployment hurdles, making owning a big business firewall no big deal for your SMB. Reclaim your network. Try a Barracuda next-gen firewall risk-free at barracuda.com/firewalls.
If you're one of the millions of Americans who suffers from back pain, there's new hope for relief without the use of over-the-counter pain pills. Australian Dream, makers of the popular arthritis cream, now offers a back pain cream. It's real medicine that goes on fast and provides effective relief for simple backache. Australian Dream back pain cream has no odor, doesn't burn, and isn't greasy. And it's backed by the empty jar guarantee. Love it or send back the empty jar for a full refund. Find Australian Dream back pain cream now at Walgreens.
And the Grammy goes to. And the American Music Award goes to.
Mr. Stephen Curtis Chapman.
Hi, we're Third Day. We're forming sort of one new band called SCC 3D.
Our sister station's doing it again. The 94.9 KLTY Concert Series welcomes Stephen Curtis Chapman with Third Day at the Verizon Theater on April 30th. Get your tickets right now at AXS.com. AXS.com.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Tomorrow morning, Mark Davis will appear at 5 a.m. to bring us the news of the day and to discuss the very same news. It's going to be an important show, one you should not miss. Here's why.
Hey, JD, good Thursday evening. Well, tomorrow morning's kind of special. It's the final Bill Bennett Morning in America, and being a Friday, it's hosted by me, so that's kind of crazy. So Hugh Hewitt takes over on Monday. Being a Friday, it's our last 5-hour date together. We'll start a normal 7 to 10 rhythm Monday through Friday all next week, so join us. I will bring the Morning in America ship into its final dock and then take a couple of extra hours, as has been the habit, to see what this week has meant to us all. So join us 5 to 10 before we shorten it up for Fridays moving forward. Looking forward to hearing you tomorrow morning right here on 660 AM The Answer.
While we're on the subject, thank you, Mark. While we're on the subject of the Associated Press, let's go back to April 2nd of 2013. Rachel Weiner wrote an article in the Washington Post discussing the Associated Press decision to drop the phrase illegal immigrant from its style book. That was a victory for immigrant advocates who argue the term is biased against the people it describes. Quote, the AP style book no longer sanctions the term illegal immigrant or the use of illegal to describe a person, unquote. Instead, it tells users that illegal should describe only an action, such as living in or immigrating to a country illegally. This, according to AP executive editor Kathleen Carroll. The move, Carroll writes, is part of a broader shift away from labeling people and towards labeling behavior, for example, referring to people as diagnosed with schizophrenia instead of schizophrenics. The AP has previously rejected the term undocumented immigrants, favored by some pro-reform activists, as inaccurate. Many of the people living in the country illegally have documents, just not the right ones, which is nothing more than dishonest intellectual attitude, in my view. The influential AP style book is used by newspapers and schools around the country. The shift is a coup for immigration reform activists who argue the term is unfair. I suppose you could use the term criminals. This particular ideology is so seducing to the right, so seductive to the right, that now the Library of Congress will no longer use the words illegal and alien to describe undocumented immigrants. This after Dartmouth College students petitioned for the change. Instead, the Library of Congress will use the terms non-citizens and unauthorized immigrants in subject headings to refer to undocumented immigrants. Students, faculty, and librarians with the Dartmouth Coalition for Immigration Reform, Equality, and Dreamers, or COFIRED, petitioned for the change for 2 years, according to a press release by the group. The acronym DREAMER comes from the Development Relief Education for Alien Minors Act, which, if enacted, would allow immigrants who are brought into the United States as children to be granted residency in the country. We call on both politicians and media outlets to follow the precedent set by the Library of Congress, said Denise Hernandez, the co-director of COFIRED, in the release. We call on both politicians and media outlets to follow the precedent set by the Library of Congress. It's way past time we all recognize that referring to immigrants as illegal is an offensive, dehumanizing term, that there is no excuse to continue using it. That, by the way, came out at 7:03 p.m. yesterday, March 30th. The only problem with it is, of course, as we know, because we actually check on it, that a lot of what is being written here is untrue. Because the CNN copy does not engage in the fact that the Associated Press came up with the same idea almost 3 years ago. The Library of Congress, by the way, did not immediately respond to a request for comments after changing their policy. Quote, we call on both politicians and media outlets to follow this precedent set by the Library of Congress. It was actually set by the Associated Press. We call on both politicians and media outlets to follow the precedent set by the Library of Congress. Again, it was the Associated Press. It is way past time that we all recognize that referring to immigrants as illegal is an offensive, dehumanizing term, that there is no excuse to continue using it. Except, of course, accuracy. The Library of Congress, crazily enough, did not immediately respond to a request for comment. The Associated Press style book is quite literally the Bible for American journalism. I wonder if that should be the case, as we now find that the Associated Press in the 30s was perfectly comfortable sanitizing the news of the Nazi regime for the sake of access to the same Third Reich. To me, this is deeply, deeply disturbing. And the reason it's deeply disturbing is because CNN, years and years and years ago, in an effort to remain accessible or to remain in a position where they could access Saddam Hussein, the former president, dictator of Iraq, in order to get that deal, in order to get the deal of being able to cover Saddam Hussein, CNN had to make a deal with Saddam and the Hussein regime to not report anything that would weaken Saddam Hussein's hold on the country of Iraq. And as the story goes, had to walk past houses filled with people undergoing torture to get to Saddam Hussein for an interview. I wonder what the CNN reporters and news cameramen and all the people involved, the producers, I wonder what those muffled screams sounded like to them as they walked by. I never forgave CNN for that. I never will. What kind of a world would we have lived in had the Associated Press not signed an agreement with the Nazi Party to produce any news that was deleterious to the Third Reich? What would the Second World War have looked like? Would we have even had it if we had known what was going on behind the regimented goose-stepping of the Third Reich? If we had known more about what was happening? The answer is no. We don't know what the world would have been like, but it would have been different. That's why our founding fathers made it absolutely incumbent on the profession of journalism to cover the American government unfettered. Little did the founding fathers know that free press, given them that exercise, given that freedom by this government, little did they know that the supposed free press would essentially surrender without a shot being fired to the whims of the American government. How would we know that the only press guaranteed the freedom to criticize the government would give up that right for the sake of a seat at the political table? The Associated Propaganda. We'll do anything for the story. This is a sobering moment. There is an AP style book on my desk right this minute. I'm trying to figure out why it's there now. I already know how to produce propaganda. I've never done it, but I know how. So now all you got to do is figure out this. Now what you got to do is you've got to figure out that a lot of the world's news comes from the Associated Press. How much of what we know is a lie? How much of what we know is a propaganda piece that is calculated only to provide a political advantage to someone or someones? The answer is we don't know. We have no idea. I showed up for work on 9/11/2001. And by the time I finished that 5-hour show, I was a changed man. I could no more explain the conduct of what the Associated Press has done all the way back to the Second World War, all the way back to the 30s. I can no more explain how much this means or how damaging this is to the Associated Press than the man in the moon. But the only thing I can tell you is that we may have been taken in. For what? 60 years? I mean, how do you trust the Associated Press? How do you do that? You know, we have said for a long time that the mainstream media was biased. And now we have a smoking gun. And the smoke has been pouring from the muzzle of that ill-begotten firearm since 1941. What would the Second World War be like if someone had actually reported the truth about the Third Reich instead of protecting their access to it? If that's not collaboration, what is? This is the Wells Report.
The Mark Davis Show.
So here it comes, the last day of Bill Bennett's Morning in America before Hugh Hewitt takes over on Monday. And being a Friday, it's our last 5-hour date together before we start a normal 7 to 10 rhythm on Fridays next week. So join us as I bring the Morning in America ship into its final dock, and then take a couple of extra hours, as always do, 8 to 10, to see what this week has meant to us all. Join us.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hi, this is Andy Tuttle, host of Tuttle Talk every Sunday afternoon at 4 p.m. right here on 660 AM. The Answer. We're in a real estate market where there's a lot of difficulty, but in difficulty, there's a lot of opportunity as well. Buying, selling, avoiding foreclosure, modifying your credit, all these things are so important to your livelihood. This show is dedicated to cutting through some of the big headlines that you see out there and teaching you how to win in any marketplace. Thank you for tuning in to Tuttle Talk every Sunday, 4 p.m. on 660 AM. The Answer. I look forward to speaking with you.
Warning: if you're drowning in debt you can't afford, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to pay it all back, because you don't. What the credit card companies don't want you to know is that there's actually a way to get debt-free without paying off your entire debt or going bankrupt. If you have $5,000 or more in credit card debt, you now have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. For free information, call Credit Associates now. 1-800-700-2844. We'll even show you how much money you could save. If you can't afford to pay off all your debt, do not let the credit card companies trick you into thinking that you have to. Call Credit Associates now for free information on how to get debt-free faster than you ever thought possible, without debt consolidation or bankruptcy. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. For free information, call now. 1-800-700-2844. That's 1-800-700-2844. 1-800-700-2844.
There's a real freedom in paying off credit card debt. You open the mailbox without facing a pile of bills. Open your paycheck without worrying about all the people you owe. Avant can help you get there by consolidating your credit card debt into one unsecured personal loan. One loan, one monthly payment. Just go to avantoffer.com and check your rate. Checking your rate is risk-free with no effect on your FICO score. Complete your application in minutes, and the funds could be in your account as soon as tomorrow. Avant will give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after you make your first payment on time. For this offer and to check your rate risk-free, go to avantoffer.com and enter the promo code BORROW. That's AVANT offer.com, promo code BORROW. Avantoffer.com, promo code BORROW. Loans made by WebBank. Funds are generally deposited via ACH for delivery next business day if approved by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. FICO is a registered trademark of Fair Isaac Corporation. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details.
Attention, cigarette smokers. Have you tried unsuccessful quit smoking, gum, or even tried going cold turkey? Great news! Now there's an all-natural alternative called Smoker's Nicotine Relief. From the Relief products, Smoker's Nicotine Relief is nicotine-free and comes in both a gum and lozenge. And they taste great! Smoker's Nicotine Relief uses natural ingredients that help you quit smoking by relieving smoking withdrawal symptoms such as nicotine cravings, irritability, insomnia, anxiety, and mood swings, all without nicotine, allowing you to quit smoking and quit nicotine. It's even gluten-free and diabetic friendly, freshens your breath, and whitens your teeth. Start on the path to healthier living today. Quit smoking with the help of Smoker's Nicotine Relief. Call now to see if you qualify for 50% off your first order. Call while supplies last. 1-800-709-5548. That's 1-800-709-5548. 1-800-709-5548. That's 1-800-709-5548.
Every floor in stock is on sale at Lumber Liquidators' end of quarter clearance sale. 100 million square feet of top quality flooring is priced to move. Get incredible deals on 60 styles of North American and European laminate, including the look of oak, maple, or cherry for under $1. 200 styles of pre-finished hardwood from just 99 cents. Save $2 a square foot on beautiful Bellawood 3/4 inch solid Brazilian cherry and get pre-finished solid bamboo from $149, plus wood look tile, vinyl plank, and more from 69 cents, and pay no interest until 2018. The end of quarter clearance sale ends Thursday, so visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you today.
What is Pink Impact?
I followed my heart and showed up to Pink Impact. I just had a moment with God, and I just came out a completely different person.
God healed me at Pink Impact. I'm amazed at how much these blessings have impacted my life.
And it will be a day that I will never forget.
Pink Impact, May 13th and 14th at the Fort Worth Convention Center with Priscilla Shire, Christine Kane, Charlotte Gamble, and Worship with Carrie Job. Get your tickets now at pinkimpact.com. That's pinkimpact.com.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Our telephone number is 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. In case you are unaware, the world will get slightly less safe this weekend. The next round of Gitmo transfers will begin this weekend with 2 detainees going to an undisclosed country in Africa. This according to a U.S. official. In January, the Pentagon conducted a bulk transfer of 10 detainees at once, the largest transfer from the U.S. Naval Station at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba, to date. The next transfer of Gitmo detainees can't happen all at once because the Pentagon is required by law to notify Congress 30 days before any transfers. Capitol Hill sources tell Fox News the period has not elapsed yet for all the transfers. The first notification went to Congress in early March. The second one in the middle of this month. The first transfer of 2 detainees will begin this weekend. The rest are expected in the middle of next month, all told. The numbers of detainees in these next 2 rounds will be about a dozen. The people that are being released have American blood on their hands, and yet they were not tried. They were not given an opportunity to be found guilty. And now they're being released. They won. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicky Stifer, technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra's Magic Matt Swinney. I'm Jon-David Wells. God bless you. See you next time for another edition of the Wells Report.
20 plus years of unemployment. That's what retirement is, or should be. But imagine still working when you're 75 because you didn't have an exit plan for the next stock market crash. If you think your current plan has too much risk, or you're tired of paying hidden fees, listen to Plain Talk No Worries with Rick Foster and Kevin Christ Saturdays at 4 p.m. Rick and Kevin will tell you the truth about the financial world we live in. No one knows when the next correction will be. So listen to Plain Talk No Worries with Rick Foster and Kevin Christ Saturdays at 4 p.m. on 660 AM The Answer.
If you're considering going back to school, ask yourself the following